The Arizona Diamondbacks are a motherfucking wagon. Welcome in. Ketel is a wagon. Pavin is a wagon. Brandon Pfaadt is a wagon. This team is a wagon. They win a very close postseason game. Wow. Coming up, just enough to beat the Philadelphia Phillies 2-1 in a walk-off victory, with Ketel getting that walk-off win. What a game. What an incredible game. And I mean, when I say that, I can't say enough about what Brandon Pfaadt did against this Phillies lineup tonight, what this bullpen did against this Phillies lineup tonight. They held them to one run, and even that one run was a wild pitch run, was more of a fluke situation more than it really being the Phillies doing what they've done so far in the series. And man, the Diamondbacks needed this so incredibly bad.
Huge win. We said game 2 is a must win. This was a must win. And the Diamondbacks got it done. The Answerbacks got it done.
I'm gonna get $20 out now. We'll see how this night goes. But hold on, we'll just get the lid off of the swear jar.
We will prepare.
We are so excited to have you guys here. Of course, my name is Derek Montilla. I am your mayor of the postseason. This man next to me is the hot tag, aka Patrick Lyons, and we will have the one and only vice mayor, your thunderstick, Jesse Friedman, joining us soon from Chase Field with all of the reactions to this big victory for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But Brandon Pfaadt, what an incredible postseason victory. What an incredible postseason performance from this young man. And Ketel Marte just continues to absolutely dominate and be the most consistent offensive threat for this team this postseason. But first, we'll start with Pfaadt, because he said all sorts of history actually tonight.
Yes.
First player in MLB history to go 0 earned runs, 0 walks in his in 2 consecutive postseason performances. You can't question whether this kid is ready, man. What a big night. I know there's still some people, even after the win, that are probably angry about Torrey pulling him from this game. And you rightfully so. You should be, because again, they wanted to make sure he did not face this lineup twice. But man, what an incredible night on the mound for Pfaadt.
He was fantastic. He kept the Phillies hitters off balance all night, was getting that high strike that the Phillies hitters just couldn't compete with. He ends up striking out 9, which is a career high for him. He had 7 strikeouts through the first 4 innings, tied for most in Diamondbacks postseason history with Doug Davis back in 2007 and Randy Johnson. And if you just look at game score, 74 was the score. That ties Curt Schilling. And everyone that's better than him in the postseason are simply just Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling. Those two guys, those two luminaries from 2001. And then next on the list is 25-year-old, recent birthday boy, Brandon Pfaadt, getting it done in a must-win game against a Philadelphia Phillies team that averages about 3 home runs per game, did not allow 1 all night.
5 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 runs, 0 earned, 0 walks, 9K. And yes, he's a wagon. Brandon Pfaadt, a wagon. Go get the wagon shirt in honor of all of these guys and tonight's performance. But man, I mean, again, this was just incredible. Second pitcher in franchise history to strike out 6 through 3 innings. Just the best performance in a postseason by a pitcher not named Curt Schilling or Randy Johnson. And there's no hyperbole there. I often overreact. And this is no overreaction. He was literally just incredible tonight. And I mean, of course, you still want to make sure that you take care of him. You want to make sure that, he doesn't get nicked up, as Torrey loves to say there, third time through the rotation. But there's going to be a time soon where Torrey is going to need to learn to trust Brandon Pfaadt, because I feel like we're past that. Now, you actually made some comments about that kind of coming through with some of the high fastballs and things like that, that you could see the Phillies guys making some adjustments here pretty quickly, and felt like Lovello had your same mindset when it came to that.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, third time through the order there with Kyle Schwarber up, a guy who, is coming off a 2-homer game here in the series. So he's got a hot bat. You definitely don't want him to do that. They're kind of building him along throughout this postseason. Gets the first start in Milwaukee. Hey, give us what you got. Okay. Not great, but not bad by any measure. Then he does it against the Dodgers, where you're kind of wanting a little bit more, but that is a series clinching game. Give it to the bullpen, shut it out, get a few days of rest. So that worked out perfectly. And this really worked out well, for the Diamondbacks, especially a guy that you're going to need again. Gallen in Game 5, Kelly in Game 6, and now you say Brandon Pfaadt in Game 7. It'll be in Philly. But all of a sudden, if you can win this bullpen game
it doesn't seem so crazy.
Against Taijuan Walker, we'll get to all of that later. But this just was a really huge and important game for the Diamondbacks to win. And in this kind of fashion, it's not just, hey, we won a game, we're competing. It's really kind of shifting the momentum back a little bit, especially when you consider what the fans were able to do all night throughout Chase Field and doing it, a strong majority of Diamondbacks fans in the building, of course.
Look, I will say that from the first inning, you could tell Pfaadt had his best stuff going. Yeah. And I mean, this was a career game for him as far as some of his numbers. And what a time to have it, right? We have heard the legendary stories of how calm and collect Brandon Pfaadt can be, especially in big moments. They've often said that he does not show the same kind of anxiety that a young player would show when called upon in certain situations. Almost too much, right? Like I've heard coaches say, like they almost would rather see a bit more emotion out of him because of how he can be. But
think about the fact that Brent Strom calls a guy in the minor leagues who's like, "Look, you got to work on some stuff
during the All-Star break while he is at home at his parents' house."
In Kentucky. You're not a big leaguer right now, but guess what? We need you in the postseason. I don't know how many people you can actually say that to and not mess them up in the head.
More importantly, the call is like, hey, I know it's 11 o'clock at night, but I think you should pitch from the other side of the rubber, and here's why. Do you have a second to download some charts I'm about to email you? Like, that's how it went. And then caps it off with by the way, we're going to need you in the postseason. Brent Strom was right. Brandon Pfaadt shoved. And this team is fucking dangerous. And go get the shirt of a dangerous team. We got some incredible merch. And if you want to root for this team, you can get all of our stuff over at the PHNXlocker.com. We got a super chat from our guy, Flex. Let's go, Flex. He says, let's go, fellas. Circle the damn wagon. The Answerbacks are serious. My man is right here. Let's go.
Baby,
let's go.
Baby, let's go.
I love it. We've converted him to the biggest Diamondbacks fan. I love all of you guys. It's so great to see so many of you here. Mark Solera, my dude, he said, put respect on my guy, Pavin's name. Let's talk about it. Pavin Smith. I will say I was anxiety-riddled when they brought Pavin Smith into the game, and I was wrong because compared to the rest of this lineup, Pavin Smith has been the man during the postseason. He hasn't been called upon much, but when he has been called upon, he has delivered, and he definitely deserves some respect on his name. You're absolutely right, Mark.
Yeah, in the seventh, they're able to they're down 1-0 at that point. Pavin Smith comes on, pinch hits against Orion Kerkering, and they might need to change the names of some of these constellations. Orion's belt, I think, for at least one night, we do need to rename Pavin's belt.
I'm
Is that shirt?
I'm not.
Is that a limited edition
I'm not going to
shirt?
deny it. I'm not going to deny it. But that bottom of the seventh, man, guys that needed to do it did it, right? The guys that we really wanted to see more of in this series: Tommy Pham singles, Lourdes Gurriel with an RBI double, Pavin Smith singles. They do manage only to score one run there, but Ketel was once again just the one doing it for the Snakes tonight. My man was I think he had a 3 for 5, big double, but obviously no hit bigger than the walk-off hit in the bottom of the ninth. You could feel something happening, but again, it's Craig Kimbrell, right? It's a legendary closer. Mm-hmm. You figure the Diamondbacks are going to probably buckle under the pressure. I mean, it was tied at that point. And again, going back to Brandon Pfaadt and this bullpen, they were able to hold the Phillies just to one run, and that one run was in the top of the seventh. Bryce Harper scoring on a wild pitch. So it wasn't really like this team, even that one run was something that the Phillies got from a big hit or anything like that. It was kind of manufactured. It was a mistake, but the Diamondbacks bent but did not break when it came to their pitching. Brandon Pfaadt, though, incredible. Bullpen, Tea time Ryan Thompson. He had that mistake with the wild pitch, but you couldn't ask for more out of Kevin Ginkel and Paul Sewald. These guys came in, they got the job done. Torrey went to them regardless of having the lead of the situation like he said he would. And, here we go, 9th inning. Diamondbacks able to get something cooking. And the guy that's been doing it for this team all postseason, Ketel Marte, comes through with the big hit. And here we sit, the Diamondbacks 2-1 victory. They're able to cut into this deficit that the Phillies have in the series and, make this a 2-1 series. They did what they needed to do and get this big win tonight.
It's wild to think that Ranger Suarez did exactly what you kind of expected him to do and just, shut down the Diamondbacks offense. And the Diamondbacks were still able to win. And that is because of Brandon Pfaadt. Had 17 swings and misses, just that's dominating those guys.
It's a career high, right?
That was amazing that he was just able to stay up high in the zone, and he just had great command. And it seemed like the Phillies at some point, I want to say it was around the 6th inning, they're all kind of exchanging glances to each other, like, wow, this kid's really doing this against us, and they couldn't figure him out.
He was using their aggressive nature that we've seen in the first 2 games and all postseason long against them. These guys are going to swing. I mean, we've seen them be patient at times. We've seen them walk, but we know what they want to do. And the pitching staff knows what they want to do. Brent Strom knows what they want to do. So, again, I think when you talked about, especially Zach Gallen in game 1, Zach Gallen was probably a bit too aggressive. And even in not hitting his spots, you probably would have been better to err on the side of throwing it out of the strike zone and letting them swing at it rather than making those mistakes down the middle like he did. And again, some things I say are just common sense, and I know that. But
other than the double that Brandon Marsh hit, that was 109.8 exit velocity off the bat. The ground into double play in the first inning against Bryce Harper, that was a great momentum shifter right there. I think that was like the 8th pitch that he threw in the first inning. That was at 100.4 miles an hour on the exit velo. Other than that, it was 94.2. That was a flyout against JT Realmuto. He just wasn't getting, Phillies hitters weren't getting hard contact. They weren't barreling balls off him. And that just kept giving the Diamondbacks more chances, more opportunities to say, hey, it's a tie game. And maybe our offense isn't gaining a ton of traction. It was 3 hits against 3 hits for a good majority of the game or deep into the game. But it said, hey, we still have a chance. We're not. And even when they're down 1-0, it's okay. This is a 1-run ball game. The tying run is at the plate every single at bat. And Brandon Pfaadt is the guy that you can thank for all of that and giving that momentum each and every inning, saying, wow, if this guy can do this, what can the bats do? They don't need to do much after that.
Yeah.
They don't.
I think there's a lot of misconception when it comes to especially the Diamondbacks having that big 4 home run inning against the Dodgers, what they did in game 1 with the 11 runs. This team they're the only way that they're going to win this series against this Phillies team is holding them to a low scoring game like this. They're not going to win. They're not going to win a brawl with this team. They're not going to win, who can score the most runs. Let's run this up kind of situation, because it feels like, the Diamondbacks don't have the offense for that right now. And it feels like the Phillies are just going to outpace them if they try to.
They do have the
that.
Offense for that.
Yeah,
even the fundamental stuff, like maybe taking an extra base. I think Marte was able to do that on one of those plays, or at least he thought he hit a home run, and so he had to bust it a little bit quicker there around first. So that wasn't taking an extra base exactly. But if you look at the base running, Gurriel got thrown out at the plate. Yeah. There was another instance where there was a double play. He got stuck, just stranded at third base, didn't score on that. That's probably why he ended up going and getting thrown out at the plate. You have the fastest team this postseason, and yet the only 2 stolen bases that you've gotten came in game 3 from Lourdes Gurriel and Pavin Smith. That is not the recipe that a lot of Diamondbacks fans would have guessed how they win the game. Yes, Brandon Pfaadt is going to shove. You're going to get, contributions from Pavin Smith at the plate, stolen base from him, Lourdes Gurriel, and you're going to win a ball game. Like, that is not how anyone thought they were going to win ball games. But here we are, down 2-1, but Diamondbacks do get their first win of the NLCS against the Philadelphia Phillies.
You know what? And this kind of, again, this feels a little bit like game 1 where even though they didn't win game 1, the fact that they were able to keep it close, make it close, almost have a shot at winning it felt like loser talk, moral victory for me, at least for me personally, right? I liked how close they kept it. It made me feel like this team could compete with the Phillies, and then game 2 happened, and that shattered my confidence and my belief.
Yep.
But this game again gives me hope, and it once again makes me think, like, even if the Diamondbacks can't win it, like they couldn't win game 1, they're putting up a fight. They're not going down without a fight. It's our Baxter meme. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going nowhere. We're here. We're fighting. And I mean, again, when you talk about Ketel Marte, his double in the 6th inning, that would have been a dinger in 21 out of 30 home ballparks. And then we also have,
including, of course,
Citizens Bank Park.
It would have broke the bank.
And then Gabriel Moreno's double in the 8th also would have been a go-ahead home run in 26 of 30 ballparks. But again, we really want to focus on the positives here because Brandon Pfaadt did a lot of historic things, including becoming the 4th pitcher in Diamondbacks history to strike out 9 players in a game. The other 3, Brandon Webb, Curt Schilling, and Randy Johnson.
That's a pretty good group. That's a great group.
It's like
did those other 2 guys do anything?
What's that?
Did those other 2 guys do anything?
Which guys?
The other 2 that he's in the group with.
The Curt Schilling and the Randy Johnson.
Yeah, did they do anything?
I mean, they had decent careers.
One of the guys a decent photographer.
Yeah,
I know that.
Actually, yeah. The other guys
not decent
in any way at all. Yeah, you couldn't describe him as being decent in any way. But again, whatever. What we will say though is Brandon Pfaadt absolutely shoved. He couldn't ask for a better night from the youngster, and for that, Brandon Pfaadt is our king snake for this game.
Wow.
5 2/3 innings pitched, 9 Ks, 0 earned runs, 0 walks. With the boyish charm, you know.
Came
out there with those rosy cheeks while he was just, like you're getting beat up by a guy that just looks so wholesome. It's embarrassing.
It's wild because he's just turned 25, but he's a rookie. Like this is his first season. He didn't even debut last year.
Yeah,
debuts this year. Most strikeouts in a postseason game with no walks, no free passes. Brandon Pfaadt, 9 today. And then the 1949 World Series, a Hall of Very Good, borderline Hall of Famer, Don Newcomb for the Brooklyn Dodgers struck out 11 on that game.
Wow.
That's how good Brandon Pfaadt was tonight.
That's
pretty historic. It was historic.
They Diamondbacks weren't great for runners in scoring position. Pavin Smith, though, got a hit with a runner in scoring position. He ended a very long streak that they had so far in this series, I think dating back to that what was it? I don't even know. I don't even know if it was in the series. I think it was dating back to the NLDS. But they've really struggled. A guy that hasn't struggled though is Ketel Marte, and for that reason, he is also our king snake. Ketel Marte, 3 for 5, walk-off hit. I'll give the king snake to Pavin Smith if I have to, because Palm Beach Gardens' own Pavin Smith deserves it for the way he's produced. But man, this team, you just can't say enough about their fight and their ability to hold. Again, one of the most potent offenses left in baseball, and honestly, arguably amongst all of baseball, to just one run. And that one run, again, wasn't a big hit. It wasn't a dinger. It was a mistake pitch that led to, it was a wild pitch. So, man.
It's a game. It's exactly as kind of a lot of their other wins went, where you're going to need contributions a little bit from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Pfaadt did a lot of heavy lifting. Ketel Marte did a lot of heavy lifting. But again, Pavin Smith, he came to the plate. And where I was watching the game today, a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, are we sure about this?" And it was very much the right call.
I was very much one of those people.
It very much was.
Guilty.
And even you look at the lineup too, there was a lot of, Tommy Pham's in right. There was a ball that ended up getting by him for a double. It's probably only one extra base. That might have actually been the Brandon Marsh double there. And you go, all right, that wasn't so bad. But as soon as he reached base and got a single, you swapped him out for Alek Thomas. That ended up being the first run there. So, Torey really pushed all the right buttons today. And at the early going, there weren't any buttons to push. It was just riding Brandon Pfaadt, and that ended up being the success story, and it all worked out for Torey.
Man, Elise, known baseball GM, said just stopping in. What a game. Playoff walk-off was electric in person. Could tell. As she tries to get out of the stadium. Stay safe. I'm glad I yelled at you and made sure you got to the stadium. Shout out to everybody that went, because as much as we heard about the $12 tickets and the Phillies fans taking over Chase Field, I didn't see that. They had their sections, and I'm not going to say they didn't have a strong showing, as they should. Their team is good. They have fans here in the Valley, not to mention there was a lot of talk about fans traveling from Philadelphia for this game and for this series. But man, you Diamondbacks fans didn't let us down. You guys came out and that stadium was packed as it should be for a game of this magnitude. And it was incredible to see.
You were rewarded.
Yeah.
This is only the third walk-off in Diamondbacks postseason series. You know when the last one was? Game 7 of the 2001 World Series.
I remember that one.
Kind of a big one. Luis Gonzalez
that one.
off of Mr. 100% voting in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Mariano Rivera, Luis Gonzalez, fittingly in the building tonight. They showed him on camera, brought some good vibes to Chase Field. And yeah, the Diamondbacks get the 2-1 victory to make the series 2-1 in favor of the Phillies. And yeah, much like the Astros and Rangers, we've got ourselves a series here.
I love when the hot tag brings the facts. I love it. But yeah, those are some good facts, and these are some good times. But you're absolutely right. You were rewarded if you did come out, if you did call out of work, if you did fake an injury. You pulled something and had to leave. We're having a tummy ache. Got down there, ate a churro dog. All of a sudden, you were feeling better. I'm glad you got rewarded. I'm glad you were there. So shout out to so many of our guys there. Super chat from our guy Caesar. He said, "Never doubted the guys for a second. I don't care what you hear." Look, man, these guys. Baseball is that sport, right? Baseball is that sport where anybody can do it. We've talked about the playoffs. We've talked about the fucking Yoffs and what can happen, the magic in the Yoffs when you get a wagon rolling in the Yoffs. And of course, it's always going to be somebody like Pavin Smith. Of course it's going to be Pavin Smith, right? Because that's how the MLB postseason goes, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch. And this is why I advocate for more playoff teams, because the more teams that can be in it, the more teams that can have a chance, the better. Screw all that talk of layoffs and all of this stuff, man, because even I said it the other day, and I got Jonathan Papelbon fucking got me on that one. They weren't hearing no talk about whatever. We're not hearing no talk about layoffs causing anything when it comes to baseball, and I completely agree. But man, the Diamondbacks just needed something, and I hope that this is the spark that gets their offense rolling a bit, because it's still not it still wasn't a great offensive game for them, but it was enough, and it came late. They started to put some stuff together in the 7th inning and the 9th inning, even in the 8th inning. So like they were able to at least get their bats warmed up, and let's hope that carries over to tomorrow night, Game 4, which again we have no idea yet. Hopefully we'll get some confirmation or some updates here soon. There might even be something on Twitter about who is going to be pitching in Game 4 for the Arizona Diamondbacks are starting. But we also have some more super chats.
It's going to be everyone, by the way, Derek. It's just everyone's pitching tomorrow.
Everyone. Is that why Tori called me?
It is. Oh, that would be why.
I'm not ready.
I'm
not ready for that stage. Jacob Covington says Ketel Marte will be a Hall of Famer. Never been happier. Yes. Jay, thank you, Jay. Jay says ski.
A very ski to you.
A ski to you. A ski to you. A ski to you all. A ski to Ketel. A ski to Pavin, and a big ski to Brandon Pfaadt. Comrade BM says probably controversial take, but I totally support pulling Pfaadt when Tori did. The plan was probably 5 innings, and they got them 2 extra outs. The plan was the number of batters, I believe.
Yes.
And that, you're right.
They got basically not the 3rd time through the order. Is all it was.
Yep,
18.
They said 18 batters.
Done.
Yep. And he got there, and he did it. He did it wonderfully, and they got him out, and they let the bullpen take over. The bullpen did their job, kinda. Got shaky there. We definitely questioned it as much as some of you did when, Andrew Saalfrank came in and walked. Kyle Schwarber that he walked, and then in the next inning he let off with a walk.
Yes, another one.
But they eventually, as you may know, things work themselves out. Caleb Lindsay, a ski motherfucker, ski to you too. Yes,
Ski,
sir.
Caleb, ski.
Tyrannical Goat 12 says Johnson, Schilling, and Pfaadt.
Wow.
Who'd have thunk
Yeah,
it?
that's the list.
Need Gallen and Kelly to show up and make the great NLCS D-backs pitchers list now. I completely agree. We would love to see that. Chris says, Pfaadt not glove tapping in his delivery seems to be the trick. 2 starts when he hasn't done it, and he's completely shoved. It's the little things. It is the little things, right? I mean, I don't know, but sometimes when you hear Brent Strom explain to us journalists about
Pitch tunneling.
Pitch tunneling, pitch deception,
right.
Throwing, using the same mechanics, everything. Like he starts detailing all the things that batters pick up, and
right.
You're just like, wow. Like especially when they start talking about it in the dugout, they start sharing this information, and yeah, like the littlest things. I mean, we've talked about them I mean, Brent Strom has identified a few times where Diamondbacks pitchers were tipping. So, I mean, it wasn't. No, definitely could have been a problem. Michael Dunn says something that's going to make me.
I don't know. I guess I'll probably keep this one off the screen just to keep the wrath of the Philly fans.
Anyway, we love you. We love you, Michael Dunn. He basically he said something very colorful that a lot of Australian people probably would really enjoy. And he said, "Here, enjoy my Australian dollars for your swear jar." So here you go. That's for you. This 20 goes in the jar for you and your swears. And I'll throw some more swears out there on my own.
He's not a big fan of the Phillies fans. Ultimately, is what he's trying to say.
No. And Phillies fans know that.
And he doesn't want them to eat a shrimp on a Barbie.
Phillies fans don't want you to be fans of them, by the way. But I do want to not neglect Brute Squad Barbecue calling Brandon Big Game Brandon. That's his new nickname. That's what we're calling him from now on.
Yeah, we've been calling him that here.
Yeah. My guy Bronson from Philly shows up. Hey, Bronson, what did I do? You know what I did? I bet against, kind of bet on your team, and I did that on purpose. I think Cogs said my parlay didn't hit. Of course it didn't, Cogs. Like I said, I'll happily pay $5 to watch the Diamondbacks win and lose my parlay every single night. But, of course, we thank all of you, whether you are an Arizona Diamondbacks fan, a Phillies fan, or just a neutral fan here to watch all of the warfare take place. We appreciate you for being here in the chat, being in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our wonderful shows go live. Leave us a review. Leave us a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. You can leave us a review on the audio side. You can also make sure you subscribe over there as well. We appreciate you guys so much for doing that. Also, check out our friends over at Wink. It's a perfect way to celebrate a victory like this. Sometimes in life, you can, maybe you don't want to have a drink with alcohol in it. Maybe you're avoiding alcohol. Maybe you're trying to do something different. Well, Wink might be the answer for you because it is a delicious seltzer that has just a wink of THC. How high will it get you? Well, I think the name says it all. It's a little 2.5 milligram or 5 milligram can with the perfect balance of THC and CBD. It's balanced, it's light and social, and it's bubbly enough for you to work the room. It can replace alcohol for you if you're looking to do that kind of thing. And of course, it's also 0 calories, 0 sugar, and once again, 0 alcohol. So tastes just like your favorite refreshing flavored seltzer. And again, it's available either in a 2.5 or 5 milligram can. You can find Wink right here in Arizona. Look for Wink at all Sunday Goods dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica dispensaries in Tucson. You can also save money online by going to drinkwink.com. That is WYNK, and use promo code PHNX for 20% off. Also, again, happy to lose my bets. And sometimes you got to take one for the team just to make your team win. I will happily do whatever it takes to help this Diamondbacks team surpass these Phillies and make it to the World Series.
Besides Pavin Smith, also Derek Montilla. They might not mention it in the post-game show, but you deserve a mention, at least here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Damon is in the chat. So
this is crazy. Somebody earlier in the chat said out of 47,000 fans, unplanned, his seats were right next to Damon and Sean.
Yeah, was it Ryan H? I think it was Ryan H, right? Yeah, our guy Ryan. Let's go. That's the way it works out sometimes. We're at the ballpark. Our guy Sean was there, right? Sean was there.
Somehow, some way he hasn't.
Was he in a Red Sox?
I don't know where. I don't know. Yeah, me and Mr. Electric took over section 312.
Like God intended. I'll put that up on the screen. Everybody, Damon, of course. The people's producer was in the crowd there at Chase Field doing his thing, bringing all the luck. And I hope he won all of his bets over at BetMGM. I know he had, I'm sure he had lots of stuff on there. And you can too. If you're a new user, you should place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager and use our code of PHNX. If you do so, you can get $200 in bonus bets instantly. All you got to do is sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created account. Place a wager in the amount of at least $10 at a standard odds price. And once you've placed a qualifying bet, you will receive $200 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your wager. And of course, there's nothing better to bet with than other people's money. And those bonus bets, those are sweet, sweet bonus bets. You can turn that around, maybe do the opposite of my parlays. I don't know. I'll share some of the ones I actually win on like Sundays and stuff. But I will happily continue to bet the way I am in order to get the Diamondbacks over the finish line. But you can sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code of PHNX. Again, place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application of at least $10. You will receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane, our baby boy that we miss so much. Listen to him talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
The Diamondbacks win, according to Bronson Lee, is because the Phillies said they would jump in the pool at Chase Field if they clinched there. He might be onto something there. He said karma is karma.
And what did you say at the end of our pregame show?
Yeah, no, you don't let the Phillies piss in the pool. Don't let them pee in the pool.
You don't want the pee.
You can't let them pee in the pool. You can't let them pee in the pool.
No.
But we can take a look at the updated bracket because we're winning some games here. And things are getting interesting. This was honestly the most exciting game of the postseason so far. I can't think of another game. Obviously, these other series were kind of blowouts. There was a couple of close games here or there, but I mean, again, especially with this Phillies team being the way they are, being able to strike at any moment, this Diamondbacks team, known at a time during this season for having a historically bad bullpen that can implode at any time. It just felt like it was a recipe for disaster, but instead the Diamondbacks are the team that they were late in the season. They are the team that they've been in the postseason so far. They were able to pull out the win. They were able to get that big run there in the ninth inning and walk it off against this team. And you can't say enough there. It's just like the 10-0 game was, a team loss. This one feels like a team victory.
Yes,
like there's a lot of different contributors, but obviously Brandon Pfaadt is the big one here. And we have our, of course, Christian Dixon Walker here in the clubhouse talking about Brandon Pfaadt and his day out on the mound.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we needed to start this game, and hopefully give our offense some time to settle in and get some runs and get it all sorted out. And super proud of him, happy for him, and that was a heck of a performance.
As you said, best game of this postseason. Sarah Langs tweeted out, there were 6 games last postseason that were scoreless through 5 innings. This game, game 3 of the NLCS, first such game the entire postseason. And it was Brandon Pfaadt.
Yeah.
Brandon Pfaadt
doing it.
The thing.
Yeah. And obviously the Diamondbacks knew that, they're facing a team that the big advantage here is experience. Postseason experience, just experience in their careers. All of these guys that are getting paid these high-end contracts have been in baseball for quite a while. They've done it. They've done it at a championship level. They were close as a team last year, and here they are now, very close again to advancing to the World Series if they can get past this pesky Diamondbacks team. But, the one thing that the Diamondbacks are developing here are a lot of things when it comes to that same experience. And it's valuable because they're such a young team. They're such a young team that could be here potentially competing in the postseason for years. And they're developing a mental toughness that they need in order to hang with a team like Philadelphia. And honestly, a mental toughness that they're going to need in order to go play in Philadelphia should they be able to extend the series. But here's Christian Walker again from the clubhouse talking more about that mental toughness.
I mean, that's exactly who we are right there. We've been doing it all year. Backs against the wall, need a big performance. Somebody different shows up every day. Lately, it's been Marte, and he's going to keep that going for us.
I mean, you could even say that Ketel Marte deserves more credit than that because he's been the guy all year. Even during the dark days that we like to describe of July 2023, those difficult times, Ketel was the one that did it. He continued to do it even when the rest of the team wasn't. And you could say that so far during this postseason. He is absolutely the one that's continued to do it. In fact, I mean, Corbin stepped up at times, but outside of those two, the rest of the lineup has essentially disappeared. That's what made it so great to see Tommy Pham and Lourdes and especially Pavin Smith contribute in this game the way that they did.
It was clutch. Yeah, as you said, Phillies, just so much experience, postseason experience in particular. Coming into this series, the Diamondbacks had only 8 players that had ever experienced the postseason, and that's mostly Evan Longoria and Tommy Pham and Ryan Thompson, actually, a little bit too. Other than that, all those guys, this is really new for them. And so we've talked about it, the last couple weeks, and you and Jesse talking about it the final month of the season, that, this is a team that is here a little bit earlier than expected. So it's gravy. But that being said, you're not just going to go, hey, we're just happy to be here.
Just happy
That's
to
the
be
biggest
here.
piece.
We're just looking for experience. We just want the We want a little clout. We want to, we want a little clout from being in the postseason. No, they are a team that, again, they've been kind of playing for their postseason lives for so long that they don't know any better at this point.
No.
And he's absolutely right about it being a different guy to step up, because that's kind of what has been a strength of this team at times. It's also a weakness because, like we saw in the 10-0 loss, they all kind of shut down and nobody did step up, right? Sometimes it's a matter of that too. They don't have the clutch guys that perform the way that some of the Phillies, all-stars perform, right? But they have been doing it in a way where it's different guys all season long. And especially here this postseason, we've had a lot of different, big heroes. And of course, Ketel is always a joy. Ketel is a goddamn gem, and it's always great to hear from him. Here he is in the clubhouse talking on believing in himself and this team during this postseason run.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I'm that kind of guy who believes in God 100%, and I believe in my team. We got a great team. We can compete with anybody in this league.
In the post game, he was being interviewed, and he definitely had glossy eyes. There was a moment you saw Torrey saying some words to Ketel, and Ketel was like, "Wow, yeah, this is huge. This is important. This isn't cool. I got the walk-off hit in the regular season. You're on a high. It's a big moment. You've turned this around. If we are going to win a ring, something Ketel Marte has never done. He's never even sniffed. Most of the people in the organization have never sniffed it. It's going to be because of a game like Ketel Marte put forth today, going 3 for 5 with the walk-off hit, game-winning RBI, and really putting the team on his back. I had it in my pregame notes that, yes, you needed the power surge to come back. Yes, you needed to get some stolen bases. They didn't get either of those things. But the third thing that they needed offensively was Ketel Marte to continue to hit. He extended his hit streak to 12 games at the start of his postseason career. Now only 2 players have ever done it longer. Greg Luzinski, a 13-game hit streak, and Marquise Grissom, 15-game hit streak. And if the Diamondbacks are really going to make a surge and win the series and go to their second World Series ever, first since 2001, it's going to take Ketel Marte getting a hit in the next 3 games at minimum for the Diamondbacks to go forward and take down the Phillies.
Tommy Pham told you that you need some dogs in the postseason.
He did say that.
And we know the Phillies got some dogs. We've seen that, but the Diamondbacks got some dogs. And of course, we are all Damon's dogs. You guys in the chat know that. But we are also Pavin's dogs, because Pavin has gotten some big hits, and here he is talking about those hits in this game.
I kind of took my shot to kind of cheating, and obviously didn't pay off. And I kind of just stayed within myself after that, and we threw the fastball and kind of just stayed inside it, and was able to hit it up the middle.
I guess we can't be his dogs because we're already Damon's dogs. So can we be Pavin's pups?
Oh, yes. I'm down for that.
Yeah, we'll be Pavin's pups and Damon's dogs. But man, again, what an unexpected contribution from a guy that spent most of his season in AAA. We know he absolutely raked down there, but so did other guys that came back up and couldn't really have success at a major league level again, the way that Jake McCarthy was struggled, the way that Kyle Lewis struggled. But Pavin Smith here in the postseason, some huge contributions, and of course, like we said earlier, put some respect on Pavin's name, Palm Beach Garden Zone.
Look, if there were any Diamondbacks fans that had doubts, and if there was anybody on the Diamondbacks roster that had any doubts, and much less so than the fans, that it's going to take everybody on the 26-man roster. There could even be, again, if they happen to make a run to the World Series, is Tommy Henry going to come out of the blue and contribute? It's going to take all 26 guys. And you see what Pavin was able to do today, and you go, oh, this is belief that even if you're not a guy that has an OPS north of 800 for an entire season and was an all-star or an MVP candidate like a Corbin Carroll, you can still contribute. You're passing the baton from one guy to the next, shedding another layer of skin like Diamondbacks do. That's what makes them dangerous. They're a connected team. And if you can do that, if you can pass that baton and draw that walk, or if you're on base, take the extra base, go forward. All of those little things add up. I used to say this all the time in relation to life, but it's true in sports too. If you take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves. And the Diamondbacks took care of the little things, and that big thing, that Game 3 win, it took care of itself.
Well, we being the idea of being a connected team that you brought up, that's exactly it, right? That's what being a connected team is. It's trusting your teammates, like Ketel said. It's believing in your team. And that goes beyond, I mean, it sounds cliche, right? It is a cliche, I guess you could say, but it's a real belief that you have to have. That belief being that you can't get it done alone, right?
No.
You're not going to come down from, a 2-run deficit with nobody on by yourself. You can't hit 2 home runs in a single at bat. And sometimes it feels like that's exactly what the Diamondbacks are trying to do. They're trying to hit 5 home runs in 1 at bat, right? Yeah. It's more about trusting your team. It's more about being able to know that they're going to be there. This guy, great teammate. We are a connected team. We are a dangerous team together. I 100% needed him, and he showed up, and here he is helping me do this show, and it's been incredible to do it with him. I appreciate it. I know it hurts his heart every day because he covered a 100-loss team this season, but he gets to be here with us experiencing this. We saved him a seat on the wagon, and I'm glad you're here. But of course, again, the team thing, right? Being a team, being a connected team,
right?
It's that confidence spreads. We've seen it.
It does.
Again, where their offense kind of all disappeared together in game 2, but this game, this gives this team confidence. And of course, here is Corbin Carroll in the clubhouse talking about that confidence and what it can do for this team.
I mean, we've been in it all year, right? We've been grinding since day one, and so I think just the confidence comes from that. The fact that all these guys, we're still united. We came out some of the rough times, and better for it.
And I mean, yeah, they have been grinding for a while, and I think again that's why even this adversity, it's not something new to them, But again, they talked a big game about going into Philadelphia and being able to play there in that environment, and the Phillies fans showed up and they made it a difficult place. And yeah, sometimes you're ready, and sometimes that test is harder than you thought it was even going to be, right? But I think to be able to bounce back from what happened in game 2 and put up the defensive showing they did tonight, the bullpen, Brandon Pfaadt specifically being able to throw the game he did, and this team being able to steal it late, it's an incredible bounce back, and it's incredibly good for their confidence moving forward.
Yeah, it was such an exciting game, like all throughout, even though it was close. It was moving so quickly. There was a point where, here's a dirty secret about me. I'm addicted to Baseball Reference. I'm addicted to StatHead.
You are.
Anytime something happens, I'm pushing the buttons. Hey, when was the last time this happened? Has anyone ever done X, Y, and Z? I'm texting back and forth with Jesse. I'm like, give me something to research. I love it. I was looking at time of games, like postseason games, because we had basically finished the top of the 5th. So that was the halfway point, and it was only a little bit more than an hour. I was like, this is going to be one of the fastest postseason games I think we had ever seen. At least in like the wild card era. That's kind of how we were gearing up. I know in baseball in general, I saw somewhere that I believe postseason games this year were being completed 33 minutes quicker than last year. So there's been a lot more action in these games. And look, for baseball fans, they know this, and I think a lot of sporting fans learned that this year with a lot of the deleted scenes being edited out of baseball games. That's kind of how I describe the pitch clock. Those moments of like guys stepping out, adjusting themselves, fixing their batting gloves.
Stuff we don't need to see. It just slows down the plot.
It's basically if you go and watch the director's cut of a movie, you're like, yeah, there's a reason they cut all those scenes out. That was cool, extending it to 3.5 hours, but let's cut all that riffraff out. And so this game moved along at like seemingly a historic pace, but that made it exciting. And then as we got closer and closer to things, it got more and more unbelievable. But the Diamondbacks kept, grinding back. And then that scene here at the offices at PHNX Sports, it was wild. The 9th inning. Yeah. Bases loaded, and you had the guy coming up that you wanted.
The exact
in Ketel
guy
Marte.
you needed. Yeah, the exact guy.
And then even after that was Corbin Carroll. So, you felt good. You felt good in that spot, but it was not how anyone would have predicted it. And again, that is absolutely the theme of this postseason for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
47,075 in attendance this afternoon. Not bad for a 2 p.m. start local time that nobody was supposed to be showing up to. Shout out to Bees. Bees said D-backs fans showed up and showed out today. That's absolutely the truth.
You could hear them at various points. Yeah. Right? When Pfaadt got taken out, there was booing. There also was one point in which I think it was Suarez. He got Jeff Hoffman. He came in with 1 out. He struck out Moreno, and then he got Christian Walker to ground out. There was an audible "Let's go Phillies" from that contingency that Jesse had discussed in the pregame behind the dugout, which you only need a few of them to get that job done. But again, I just think that's going to incense Diamondbacks fans who are saying, look, we are not going to go down without a fight. We're not going to let Phillies fans, come in and take our seats. It's one of the reasons why on Game Time, Game 4, to get in the front door, it's $56. I mean, if of course you want to use code PHNX, but even still,
you want to go to.
I did just do that for you. Sorry,
but
even still, it's like, okay, tomorrow night, it's gonna be a Friday night. It's going to be rocking. Tie this series up, and it's gonna be a bullpen game, and of course we'll preview it on Friday. But you got Taijuan Walker, coming out on the bump for the other team. A player that I believe that was a part of the Ketel Marte deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That allowed them to acquire that. So it's kind of fitting that happens.
Was he? Yes, he was. You're right. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Took me a second there. There's some great stories coming out.
So many great stories.
Especially the scenes, the tweets we're seeing here from Diamondbacks or from everybody just leaving the stadium. It's just incredible to see all of this party going on out there out front of Chase Field. But there's also a really cool tweet from Grace Del Pizzo. I'm probably butchering her name, so I apologize for that. She's a Cronkite student, but she also is a Crossing Broad intern, so she's kind of a double agent. And that's a Phillies podcast website.
They like my sandals.
Yeah, they do. They're a big fan of your sandals and big fans of some of the comments from you guys. But
sorry to disappoint. I'm wearing sneakers today.
She tweeted out, leaving Chase Field, a Phillies fan, Kiddo, was visibly upset, and a D-backs fan reassured him that the Phils played well and there was nothing to be sad about. Coded stuff from you, random man.
That's cool.
I love baseball. I love baseball so much. Unlike football, where they'd probably be fighting the kid. That's what I've seen out of football games. I don't attend those anymore. But shout out to all of you that attended the Diamondbacks game tonight. Now, like you said, though, Game 4, a lot of question marks. Who is going to start for the Diamondbacks? Do we have an update yet? I haven't seen anything as of yet. But of course, like you said, there was a good chance it was going to be a bullpen start. Obviously, now without it being a literal must-win, I don't see any need to trot Zach Gallen out there on short rest. You can have Zach Gallen start in Game 5, which will happen. And yeah, man, I mean, again, I don't like it, but I also did not like Brandon Pfaadt starting against this Phillies lineup, and I couldn't have been more wrong.
And you got a W. And you got a W out of that. So the bullpen, you did use 4 relievers, but all for an inning or less. Saalfrank, 15 pitches, he can come back tomorrow. Thompson, 11 pitches, he can come back. Ginkel, 14. Sewell, 21. Wait and see what happens. He's going to be in the 9th inning anyway.
Yeah.
If that's going to lock down a win, he's going to go out there and he's going to pitch, shut it down, get the final 3 outs like he did tonight with the top of the order up. This is what a closer is when we think of it like, oh man, it's the most important outs. Is it? If you're facing the 6th, 7th, and 8th hitter, you can put one of them on and then you've got the 9th hitter after that. Not always the case, but this was 1, 2, and 3 to close this game out. So that was really huge. So you got a bullpen game. You did use your bullpen a little bit tonight, but not excessively. And it does allow you to do that. You're not even worrying about Game 5. You're going to get Zach Gallen. He's going to be at home. You hope he can go out and dare I say, and who thought in the beginning of the season? Who would have thought in the summer? Who would have thought in the beginning of this offseason? Who would have thought a week ago we would be saying Game 5, maybe Zach Gallen can pitch a little bit like Brandon Pfaadt. I'm saying it because it's true, but you don't have to worry.
I knew it was coming, but I couldn't wait to hear it actually leave your mouth.
You don't have to necessarily worry about Zach Gallen going and shoving. Take the game that's in front of you. You can go out and win Game 4 with the bullpen, and all 4 of those guys can come back on back-to-back nights.
Gallen has been damn near unhittable at home when it comes to his performances at Chase Field. He's had a couple. I mean, he's had a couple of bad outings, especially later on in the year. But at one point, he was incredible, and his numbers, his splits at home versus on the road are like night and day. So Zach Gallen going rested on a normal amount of rest in Game 5. I'm with that at home, but I still have a lot of questions about how do we get through tomorrow? What do the Diamondbacks do? Ryan Nelson starts the game. Do we go with Joe Mantiply? I feel like one of those two guys could end up being the candidate. I know that Torey has trusted Joe Mantiply to start in the past in bullpen starts, and then Ryan Nelson has literally been part of the starting rotation at times this season. So it really feels like it comes down to one of those two guys. Neither one of them pitched tonight.
One of the nice elements about the win, and again, it's only 2-1, so you didn't dominate in any capacity, but you got to Craig Kimbrell. You got to the guy that closed things out on game 1 on Monday, and so you're able to get to him. So next time he's in a big spot, maybe we don't see him in the 9th again. Maybe we do. You've got that confidence. You've got that muscle memory of, hey, we did it to him already once, which is really nice to see. And so they might have to go to somebody else. They might have to figure those things out. So besides just getting the win, you also did put, a little chip, a little chink in the armor there, and chipped away at the Phillies bullpen. That's got to make you feel good going forward, because that could come into play and be a factor one of these games going forward.
Absolutely. Let's see. Rudy says, keep the ball in the ballpark, playing simple against this Phillies lineup. I mean, you're not wrong. Like we've said in the past, it seems like so far, at least in the postseason, and I don't want Phillies fans to jump on me because I know I've not been watching your team all year long. I'll just get that out of the way. But so far, it does seem like they live and die by the long ball. They seem to be able to walk and get some guys on base. But yeah, if you can keep them from hitting an excessive amount of home runs, you can definitely find a way to beat this team. The Diamondbacks, meanwhile, just have different ways to beat you. But again, there's their shortcomings definitely involve their starting rotation, and that's what all the questions are going to be about right now. I'm sure we'll get an update at some point tonight. But honestly, good on the Diamondbacks for holding. I mean, it's obviously not going to be the best. Like it's not going to be one of their better starting pitchers. They don't have any options, right? It's going to be one of those guys that I mentioned. Maybe it could be even somebody that I haven't brought up yet. But to kind of wait and catch the Phillies as much off guard as possible with your game plan, especially in a bullpen start like this, it seems like the best, because you need to do everything you can to cool off their offense. So far, Brandon Pfaadt figured out a way to do it in this game. And I mean, come on, let's go. Let's get it going.
You like Torey with his finger on the button, and you like him a little bit better now because he pushed those right buttons tonight. And so I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow. Torey's talked, this entire series and this entire month about the game plan. Like, hey, if things are great, here's what we'll do. If things aren't great, we've got another plan for that. And so I think that's what you're going to see tomorrow. If we do get that bullpen game that's expected of, what are the different matchups? Okay, if this guy comes in, you got to be ready. This guy's going to come in and pitch to so-and-so. And basically it's just subtraction. All right, we got to get 27 outs. Who are going to get those outs? In what spot? Plug and play. And there's a recipe that he'll be able to follow tomorrow that if all goes well, and if the relievers get the job done that they would like, then, they're going to come out with another win. It's going to be 2-2 with Game 5 at home.
Don't even show.
What's going on in the chat?
Don't even show piece of Yoshi's comment. I don't even want to hear this shit.
The chat's getting crazy again.
Like as if he just started the Fire Derek era. Piece of Yoshi has been on the Fire Derek era since the beginning of the season. Benjamin, I'm not even going to thank him for super chat. Get off my screen. Benjamin Jimenez, thank you for your super chat. He says it's the fucking Yoffs. Anything can happen. I'm down with that.
Doesn't count because you read it.
I read it. It's just like the shirt. That shouldn't count either.
Doesn't count.
Shout out to Dirt Bike Boy 714 said, I called Pavin Smith Laundry Shamit or Landry Shamit, whichever one. Then Buddy goes and gets on base twice. Yeah, that's similar to my reaction. So I'm not going to condemn you at all for that. And we thank you for being here and thank you for your super chat. And again, I do not thank Yoshi at all for his, but I do thank Corbin Carroll for some more kind words he has from the clubhouse. Here he is talking about Brandon Pfaadt, which of course we all can't say enough about it.
No.
Probably the best I've ever seen him throw. Both fastballs working, that slider, staying on the plate pretty long time and then breaking right off. It was just quality pitch after quality pitch.
Rudy in the chat says Mantiply starting tomorrow, confirmed. So hey, look at me, a genius.
Mantiply versus somebody, just Christopher Sanchez.
Christopher Sanchez for Philly. So There we go. That makes a lot of sense, honestly. Torey Lovullo has very much trusted him. And I mean, he was there.
We talked to him last week. He kind of like said something about it as an opener, and you're like, "What? Why did you say that? Was that just like a random example, or do you kind of know something?" And again, he's just going to probably be on for 3 outs because you like that matchup. That's Schwarber, Turner on the right side, and then Harper. And you go, oh yeah, left on left. Like that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully, he can get that done. So he's not in there against Bryson Stott again.
Absolutely.
And so that's 3 outs right there. You need 24 more. That bullpen is capable of getting it somewhere along the way.
And when we talk about guys, of course, that have been able to get it done all season long, there's not a lot of guys in the bullpen that have done it. But Joe Mantiply, I know he's had his struggles, but he has been around consistently for this bullpen. And Kevin Ginkel, who, again, came out tonight.
Wow.
2 strikeouts, scoreless inning, no hits.
A tapper right back to him for the final out.
Tapper right back to him. He handles it just so he can get pumped and pump up the audience and get us ready for the 9th inning. It's what Kevin Ginkel does. But I mean, this was, again, an all-around victory that everybody deserves their flowers tonight. A lot of things that they still have to work on, though, because you're not going to get a lot of chances to win games against the Phillies just scoring 2 runs. It's just not going to happen.
And you're not going to win games if you make certain unforced errors. Like, again, as we said earlier on, we briefly touched on it, Gurriel's base running where, you've got a double play. I know the Phillies were playing up there on the grass. Trey Turner checked him down just a little bit. And Gurriel has momentum going back to third base, so he wasn't able to score on a double play. That's almost unheard of. And then that comes back into play in the 9th inning as a factor. He gets thrown out at the plate, and then Bryce Harper, who scores on what's a wild pitch. That was a strange one. That was in the other batter's box that Moreno couldn't hold on to. Kind of a close play. I don't know if anything perfected by either Thompson getting to the plate a little bit quicker, Moreno having a slightly better throw. You get Harper, but he does that and scores on the wild pitch. That's their only run for the Phillies. He steals second base late, and you go, how is Harper going to win this game for the Phillies with his legs? Of all the players.
And of
all the body parts.
Of all the teams.
Right.
It's the Phillies that are going to win it with their legs. Cog says, naming my firstborn Ginkel. Did you not say you were naming your firstborn Ketel earlier in this same episode?
I think you should name it Derek.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that.
Merrick?
That's a good idea. Derek.
Oh, okay.
Derek. Yeah, Derek's a fine name. It's a fine name, but you have to spell it correctly.
How about just Pfaadt? And moving on.
You're just asking for a lifetime of trouble naming your kid Pfaadt.
It's Pfaadt with a P.
Yeah, I get it.
Now I'm really out. Yeah. I have no idea.
B says D-backs margin for error is minimal at best. Need to lock in 1,000% or the Phillies will make you pay. That's what we saw tonight. There was no margin for error tonight. Brian says, so would that be Ryan Nelson or Slade Ciccone going after Mantiply? Well, if we build it out from there, like you said, maybe Mantiply gets that first inning. Maybe Ryan Nelson gets 2. That gets you to the 3rd.
Do you want home Ryan Nelson, though?
Slade? You want Slade in there?
I would rather have Slade because home Ryan Nelson has a 8.5.
So you're going Mantiply 1, Slade 2?
If you're going to go
Two, three?
game on the road, then it's Ryan Nelson. But I think at home, probably Slade.
Okay. So then what? Saul Frank 4?
Yeah.
Again,
Thompson 5,
It's going to be matchups. Sure.
7, 8, Ginkel? 9,
I mean, at this point, you got to throw. You're throwing shit at a wall. Like, it's. I know.
Wait.
Put $1 in there.
Wow.
That's only $1 one.
I got him,
That's
though.
only one, but still.
Yeah, I got him.
Now it's only 98% of the money in the swear jar.
I just want somebody else to contribute to the swear jar besides me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I don't know. But again, you know what?
They'll figure it out. Tori's going to figure it out with the staff.
Cox says, how's about Answerback as a name? How about Yoffs? Name your kid Yoffs.
There was another big spot in this game.
Yeah.
And it was in the 9th. And it was... unfortunately, courtesy of home plate umpire Dan Iasonia, that call with 2 strikes. That was 2 strikes. Paul Sewald there, and
we were having a good time.
Was fully in the strike zone.
It was incredulous. It was one of the most egregious calls I've ever seen at a high level in a big game like this. And then the next call was honestly a bullshit makeup call because that one was mostly out of the zone. And he was like, it doesn't matter where the fuck this pitch lands. I'm calling it a strike after what I just did. But, man, I mean, I'm just glad things bounced the Diamondbacks' way.
That was huge of Sewald to kind of get through that because he was like, shocked.
Yeah.
He had a look of shock on his face. He was walking off the field, and
Because
he rebounded that quickly.
that is one of the most difficult things, just like a completely egregious call that would have ended the inning and get you out of such a big situation. And now you have to go out there and continue to throw. It's just insane. But luckily he got out of it. We all jumped around here in the office. At least some of us did. Trust me, I kept track of who did and didn't jump around in this goddamn office in the 9th inning, but we'll get to that shortly. Of course, we are celebrating a victory, and there's no better way to do it than with our friends from OG's Brands. If you are stuck on what kind of gummies to get, I'm going to tell you, you need a sativa tonight because we want to get pumped up. So go get yourself some OGs. They have their fruit mix bags. They have their cream mix bag. They have a variety of flavors all together in one delicious space. And of course, you can customize your experience. If you're an excitable boy like me, you might need an indica to come down from the high that we are currently on, provided by the Arizona Diamondbacks, to get you to go to sleep and make it out tomorrow for Game 4, which again, I will make sure that I yell at all of you in the pregame show tomorrow to make sure you make it out again. But I will also yell at you to go check out OG's Gummies, because as the bud tender told me at the dispensary the other day, it's her favorite edible, and it will be yours very soon if you try it out. So, of course, check out our friends at OG's Brands for yourself and try one or a few of their many delicious flavors. Check them out across all socials at OG's Brands and online at ogsbrands.com. To find them at a local dispensary near you, must be 21 or over to enjoy. Please enjoy responsibly. Also, again, the future of this team, very bright. Do I mean next year? Do I mean in 2028? No, I mean in the goddamn yaffs. I mean right now. So go out and get yourself a quality pair of premium polarized sunglasses so that you can look right into the sun that is this wagon, that is this team, that is the Diamondbacks. There's a lot. They're connected. But again, a
roof
connected
open,
team.
roof closed.
Roof open, roof closed. If it's open and you're sitting on the side of you're going to need some sunglasses if you're sitting on that side of Chase
Corbin
Field.
Carroll needed shady rays for that one play in center field.
Oh my God, the lights coming in that
was worrisome.
Yeah, it was worrisome for sure. But of course, if he had some, he would know that he could break them or lose them, and he would get them replaced by shady rays with absolutely no questions asked, no shame heaped upon him, and of course, definitely. No going without his sunglasses. He will get a brand new pair sent out to him because Shady Rays has the most insane protection plan in all of eyewear. Again, they have your back long after you purchase. Of course, if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for your money back for absolutely free 30 days after your purchase. So make sure you shop their entire collection. You can shop it online or at their location at Kierland Commons. It's a full-stop shop for all things Shady Rays. Of course, if you do shop online, exclusively for our listeners and our viewers, we're not leaving your viewers out either. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Well, it is time. It is time that all the Phillies fans have waited for, because I know they're all excited. They're all huge fans of this guy. I'm a huge fan of this guy. It's the one and only Thunderstick Jesse Friedman coming to us live from Chase Field. Jesse, what a night for this Arizona Diamondbacks team. They hold this Phillies team to just 1 run. They pull off the exciting walk-off victory. What are the vibes like at Chase Field?
I guess the vibes would be immaculate, right? I mean,
he said the thing from the thing.
A time to use that phrase, I guess this would be it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few questions asked after this one about, the Diamondbacks being counted out by a lot of people after going down 2-0. And, Geraldo Perdomo said, hey, even when we're up in these series, people are still doubting that we're going to be able to actually come through and win.
Sure.
I imagine that was maybe in reference to the Dodgers series more than anything else, where even if, the D-backs win the first game, people are by and large still expecting the Dodgers to come away with that series. Even with the Diamondbacks up 2-0, I think there were some people that were not at all ready to lock that series in for the Diamondbacks, just given how good the Dodgers are. But yeah, I mean, the D-backs, it was sort of a game of inches in a lot of ways. You feel like if a few things go the Diamondbacks' way, maybe this is a more comfortable win for them. There were a lot of little things that didn't go their way.
Very true.
The wild pitch, of course, is the way that the Phillies scored their run. Ryan Thompson dialed up a really big double play with 2 on and nobody out. You've got a runner at third, 2 outs then, and then, Thompson strikes at JT Realmuto. But before he does that, he corks a wild pitch, and that gets the Phillies on the board with their first run. There were also multiple doubles in this game by Diamondbacks hitters that would have been home runs in basically any other ballpark except for this one. Gabby Moreno had a double that would have been a home run. I think in 26 out of 30 ballparks. Ketel Marte had a double late in this game. I believe that was the 6th inning. That would have been a home run in the majority of ballparks. We all know what Chase Field does to potential home run balls to straightaway center field. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. But the Diamondbacks were still able to find a way to come out and win this game, even though some of those things didn't go their way. And Ketel Marte, it just seemed fitting that it came down to him. He's really been the one guy in this lineup who's hit consistently, and he came through in the biggest spot of the game.
One of the things that we haven't discussed exactly, and I'm curious what your vantage point was like from the press box and sensing the energy in the ballpark, was in that bottom of the 9th, Geraldo Perdomo, I believe he got behind 0-2. He was definitely behind in the count, was able to battle, draws a walk, kind of gestures to his double play partner, Ketel Marte, to say, hey, I'm passing the baton to you. It's your turn. And he goes up and he absolutely gets it done. What did you see there in the 9th during that at bat for Perdomo?
Yeah, it was a huge at bat, and I mean that's what Geraldo Perdomo has sort of made a living doing this season, right? Is drawing walks in big spots, finding ways to get on base,
right,
even if there's not necessarily a whole lot of slug there. And we did ask him about that at bat. He said his approach was kind of the same that it always is, even though he knew that Ketel Marte was on deck. He's just trying to get on base. But it was a really pivotal at bat in this game. Because, it was prior to him, Emmanuel Rivera hit that ground ball. Lourdes Gurriel's cut down at the plate. You're looking at, instead of second and third, nobody out, all of a sudden it's first and second, 1 out, which is not nearly as favorable of a situation. And Perdomo just finding a way to get on base there was really huge. And, Ketel Marte did what Ketel Marte has been doing consistently throughout for the Diamondbacks throughout the postseason, which is, come through in situations where maybe some of the other guys in this lineup are struggling.
Jesse, we discussed obviously that the Diamondbacks can't expect to score just 2 runs and beat this Phillies team very many times. I mean, and we also discussed that close games seems like the only way that it's really going to happen. But what can you say about what Ketel's done? Because we know the rest of the offense has kind of been sporadic or non-existent at all, but Ketel continues to bring it, and obviously tonight he had the huge hit, he had a big night, and he just has been the guy doing it for this team all postseason long.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Diamondbacks have 16 hits in this series so far, and 6 of them are by Ketel. So almost half are by Ketel.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to continue moving forward. At some point, the D-backs aren't going to win 4 of these unless some of those other guys are able to find their way and get hot. But yeah, I mean, this has been a huge season for Ketel Marte. Last year, he was not this player, right? I mean, last year, Ketel Marte had an OPS right around 700. He was basically a league average hitter. And this season, I think the biggest difference has been that he's become a very, very good hitter facing righties again. Last year, it was sort of he's one of the best hitters in the game against lefties, but against a righty, he's really not all that great. And this year, he's gotten back to the version of Ketel that we saw in 2019, the version of Ketel that we saw in 2021, where he's doing damage from both sides. And you saw that in this game as well, right? Of his 3 hits, I believe the 2 doubles in this game were against lefties. And then that single that won the game for the Diamondbacks, that was against a very good righty in Craig Kimbrell. So, he's able to do it from both sides, and that has tons of value because there's just no way to really counter him, right? It doesn't really matter who the Phillies put in the game. Ketel Marte is going to be, he's gonna be an above average, a well above average hitter no matter who he's facing.
Well, Cool Chris isn't wrong. He said walk him. And honestly, with the way this offense is performing lately, I mean, I noticed that they took that approach with some of the dangerous Phillies hitters at times. You had they walked Bryce Harper in a very obvious kind of pitch around situation, right?
Yeah,
but
4 pitches. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at what they did, they had a game plan. That's what they've talked about Paul Sewald doing that, right? They've talked about that's the experience that someone like Paul Sewald brings to a team like this is that Sewald knows he's not going to mess with a hitter like Bryce Harper. He's going to pass on him and go for the better matchup with the next guy that he's going to face. And man, it's worked out so well. But again, we talked a lot about Brandon Pfaadt and his night. I know this guy's a big fan of Brandon Pfaadt's night.
Jesse, I hope you like cheesesteaks, baby.
We're sending. He's already making flight plans for you to go back to Philadelphia, by the way. Wow. So I hope you like that Holiday Inn.
Yeah, well, the D-backs still have a lot of work to do, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
In order to get it back to Philly, they do still have to win one of these next 2 games. We did just find out that Joe Mantiply is starting tomorrow. I don't know if you guys have covered that at all.
We did right before you jumped on.
That'll be interesting. I mean, it's basically going to be a full-on bullpen game. I imagine. I mean, maybe they're looking to get a few innings out of a Slade Ciccone or someone like that. But Ciccone and Nelson both pitched just the other day. Yeah. And I don't know. I just don't know if those are guys the Diamondbacks really feel they can count on in this kind of a situation. So it might be sort of an all hands on deck. I think every reliever that the Diamondbacks use today should be available tomorrow as well. I think Sewald threw 21 pitches, but outside of that, it was a pretty reasonable number for all those guys. So you'll probably see the D-backs be pretty aggressive in Game 4. But it's still tough because, Game 5 is the very next day. There are no off days between any of these games here in Arizona. So I think it's important to note that winning this game in 9 innings was huge for the Diamondbacks. They would have had some arms available to them. Like they could have gone to Miguel Castro.
That's a great point.
Or Joe Mantiply or whomever in extra innings. But not only are those guys, generally more low leverage arms, but the D-backs need some coverage for tomorrow. Like they need some way to get through the game tomorrow. And getting out of here in 9 innings was huge.
Brandon Pfaadt, though, like we said, joined an elite club of Diamondbacks pitchers, and when you start talking about him sharing the same space as Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, and Brandon Webb, doing things that only the most elite pitchers in Diamondbacks history have ever done, even when the Diamondbacks right now currently have 2 guys that we consider to be fairly elite as part of their starting rotation, it's a very special feeling, especially when that guy is a young player in his rookie season with his entire career ahead of him and lots of years still here in Arizona to enjoy watching him pitch.
Yeah, in my mind, like I know Ketel got the big hit and had a few hits in this game, but the hero of this game for the Diamondbacks in my mind is Brandon Pfaadt. He came out and 5 2/3 scoreless innings against a very good Phillies lineup, the best hitting lineup on the planet, a lineup that is at least right now, right?
Yeah.
A lineup that has put up some insane numbers so far in the postseason. Just scored 10 runs against the Diamondbacks the other night. Brandon Pfaadt came in and was dominant. This was not 5 2/3 innings with 3 strikeouts and some pop-ups and ground balls. This was 5 2/3 with 9 strikeouts and I think it was 17 swing and misses, if I'm not mistaken, which is a crazy number for Brandon Pfaadt. A lot of it came on his fastballs too. That was a big question, during the season when Pfaadt was going through some of his struggles is, does he really have a fastball that can really get major league hitters to swing and miss? Because that sweeper was good, but he's going to need some swing and miss from something else at some point. And it was just whiff after whiff on 4-seamers that were in the zone, that were elevated, sinkers that were well located off the outside corner to lefties. He was just dialed in all the way around. I think this is the best I've ever seen him. And it obviously came in a huge spot for the Diamondbacks.
We were just reminiscing about that late night phone call he received from Brent Strom to concoct a master plan to move him to the other side of the rubber and to send him all sorts of diagrams about it. But most importantly, to tell him at that point when he was down in AAA during the All-Star break at his parents' home in Kentucky that this team was going to need him in the postseason. And that prediction, well, it wasn't a prediction. It was a spoiler is what it was for the future. And that's exactly what we saw. It's like one of those things where Brent Strom sees a lot of talent. He has a lot of experience. He is the pitching god at times. But Brent Strom knows how special Brandon Pfaadt is. And sometimes you have to gas guys up. Sometimes you got to say things to get their confidence going. But to tell a young man that's been sent up and down a few times over the course of the season and who is currently in AAA, that you just thought of this random wild idea in the middle of the night that you think is going to help him and that you need him because this team needs him in the postseason. It's got to be pretty fulfilling to have that prophecy come true and for both of those guys to remember that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just this outing for Brandon Pfaadt, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Game 3 of the NLDS against the Dodgers, I know the leash was really short there as well. 4 1/3 innings on 42 pitches in that game. It's incredible. I mean, the efficiency that he's done this with is remarkable.
First pitcher in MLB history to give up 0 earned runs and 0 walks in consecutive outings in the postseason. Like in MLB history. I mean, again, like you said, short leash. A lot of guys are probably going a bit longer, so they have a better chance to get dinged up there in the 6th inning and in the 7th inning because that's usually when that happens in close ball games. But the way that they've protected Brandon Pfaadt so far has seemed like the right move. It's given him a lot of confidence. It's allowed him to be this pitcher. And the bullpen has been phenomenal. I mean, they faltered definitely in Game 2, but so did everybody on this team. So you could throw the blame all the way around with that one. But tonight, they locked it down. Ryan Thompson made a mistake with that wild pitch. And outside of that, everybody seemed to be able to do their job and keep this Phillies team off the board and earn this win together as a team.
Yeah, it was funny. Torey Lovello, in his post-game presser, he was in the interview room, and he talked about, trying to figure out if the Diamondbacks wanted to keep Brandon Pfaadt in this game. Coming in, the expectation, once again, at least what they were telling us, was 18 batters plus or minus 4. And so he faced his 18 batters, right? Kyle Schwarber was coming up. And if ever there was a time to go on the plus side of the plus or minus 4, it seemed like this had to be it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Pfaadt was outstanding, and it was outstanding in those first 18 hitters he threw. And Torey talked about having a conversation with Jeff Bannister, with Brent Strom, basically asking them, am I an idiot for taking out Brandon Pfaadt? With 5 2/3, 9 strikeouts, am I an idiot for doing this? And he didn't really say what they said, but that is the decision.
Danny did one of these.
No comment.
That is the decision that Torey ultimately made. And I don't know if you guys mentioned this. I tweeted out earlier. Tommy Pham, when I asked him after the game about how he felt about Brandon Pfaadt's outing, he went out of his way to tell us that Brandon Pfaadt should not have come out of this game. He said, Brandon, we had all the momentum on our side, and I think Brandon Pfaadt should have stayed in this game. And you could certainly see where he's coming from, and I know a lot of fans certainly feel the same way. But it ended well for the Diamondbacks, and from Brandon Pfaadt's perspective, he has a lot of confidence in this bullpen, and you can certainly understand why, and it worked out for the Diamondbacks.
Tommy, you got to be careful, Tommy, with your words. Just call Brandon Pfaadt a dog. And move on. Don't be questioning your manager here. Easy, Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy Pham had a big hit tonight, but he still hasn't done enough in the postseason to be questioning Torey. But Jesse, obviously Game 4, very important for this team. Like you said, in order for them to get back to Philly, they're going to need to win both of these games. So, what's a big part of this bullpen game and what they're going to be able to put together? Like, who can they go to? Is this going to be like a 1-inning thing for each guy? Do you think they'll be able to get a length out of anybody? Like Joe Mantiply being the starter definitely doesn't feel like he's going to go very long.
Yeah, I mean, you would think Mantiply being a lefty, you want him to face Harper, you want him to face Schwarber. I don't know if you want him to face Real Muto or Castellanos or of the guys after those. So it really could be a situation where Mantiply faces the first 3 hitters, and then if Alec Boehm is hitting 4th again, you might go to a righty at that point. And I don't know what kind of role, Ciccone or Ryan Nelson are going to play in this game, if there's going to be sort of a length guy. But like I said earlier, I mean, you figure it's going to be all hands on deck with pretty much all of the guys who pitched in the game today theoretically being available again tomorrow.
You got anything else for him?
Just so when Saturday night Game 5 gets over, Diamondbacks still need to win one more game to push this thing out to Game 6 in Philadelphia. Your Greyhound leaves the station at 1:30 a.m. So I'll drop you off there.
Patrick's
Just so you know,
wife
I got
is
you.
furious with me that we keep hanging on to him. She keeps calling me asking when he's going to come home. Jesse, I just keep ignoring the phone call. I actually blocked her today just so that she would stop asking when Patrick's going to come home. I don't know when the yachts are going to end. Who knows? It's a magical time of the year. We don't get to experience it much. God damn it. Get out to the ballpark tomorrow. Do what you guys did today. Support this team. Get out there tomorrow. Get out there Saturday. Let's get some more wins. Let's keep this home field advantage rolling. Let's get 3 wins. Let's take it back to Philly, and let's win the goddamn thing in Philadelphia in front of their fans. Let's jump in their pool. Oh, yeah, they don't have one.
Can ring their
Poverty
bell?
franchise without a pool. We'll ring the bell.
Yes.
Oh, you don't have a pool? Sorry. You don't get to celebrate in your own pool. But, Jesse, we appreciate you. We think you should go just jump in the pool real fast just to cool off. You're not saying water now, are you?
Water.
I'm not, no, and I'm kind of
Okay.
disappointed because when I was in
wanna be
Philly, I mean, I talked with a number of people who are like native Philadelphians. I never once heard anyone say
No,
water, which
dang
feels
it.
like a really massive missed
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah,
But,
that's
you know,
upsetting.
I might be heading back there in a few days. So
We might
we'll
be.
see if we
You
can
might
make
be.
it right.
Keep your bag packed.
Yes.
Don't unpack your bag. Thunderbolt's here. He's finally happy. He says, "I'm here!" Exclamation point. Piece of Yoshi's telling me to shut up. We're gonna block him in the chat soon enough. He's gonna cross a line that's uncrossable, I'm sure. But he still wants to be fired. Just wanted to make sure that you do that. And again, we appreciate your time, Jesse. We will see you tomorrow with more from Chase Field on Game 4.
I do want to say real quick, this
Please
was
do.
like a legit sellout game.
Oh yeah, we wanted to ask
at
you about
first-
the crowd. Yeah, you
Yeah,
had some
I
notes
was-
for us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, an hour or two before this game started, and you certainly figured that, you know, if you're traveling all the way from Philadelphia to attend this game as a Phillies fan, you're probably going to be one of the first people in the ballpark. I mean, that's literally the only reason that you're in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
So we figured, you know, maybe a disproportionate number of the Phillies people will be here. The D-backs people will take a little bit longer. And sure enough, I mean, you know, the first base side was vast majority Phillies fans, but this stadium was packed and it was really loud. The Diamondbacks fans, I think showed up in a pretty big way, even though there were more Phillies fans here than certainly, you know, would have been ideal from the Diamondbacks side of things, but it was loud and, you know, it wasn't what we saw at Citizens Bank Park. I still think Phillies fans have something pretty crazy going on over there.
They really do.
But the Diamondbacks had a big home field advantage in this game, and you know that was a pretty big question coming into today. What that would look like.
All right, Jesse. Well, hopefully we get that same crowd coming out tomorrow. Maybe even a bigger Diamondbacks crowd tomorrow for Game 4. We will see you. We will have our pregame show tomorrow, so we will see you back here with our postgame show. So thank you so much again for your coverage. Yeah, get him out of
He
here.
took so long.
He
to
took
say
so long
anything.
to respond like that. He needs to know better than that. Can we do something for my
hang
God?
on. I'll give him a chance.
Oh, he's coming back in?
He cut you
I
off.
responded. I think there's a bit of a delay or something. I responded immediately after you guys stopped talking,
Defend
and
yourself.
Jacob just decided he didn't want me on the show anymore. So
He's a monster.
It's fine. It's
Damon
all right.
Would,
I'm
Damon
not
would
offended.
never have done that to you. Never in a million years. He's the people's producer. He gives
But
the people
apparently
what
the
they
chat
want.
wants Damon to go to the game again.
Yeah,
so
that
Damon's not allowed
too.
to
Damon's
work
got to go.
tomorrow.
You're going to have to work the thing. Everybody has to do what they did tonight. Everybody has to be here tonight, Jesse.
I got bad news for
most
you,
of the
Derek.
PHNX office was here. Jacob has to produce. This is how it has to be. I'm sorry. We're creatures of habit in the baseball world. So
At least
Jesse,
I'm kind enough to give him a second chance. Okay, Jesse, tell us what you were going to tell us.
he was just going to say
I
bye.
was
you
just gonna
monster.
say thanks for. I was just gonna say
Yeah.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently
What
that's
am I
not-
like?
you're
I,
not-
appre-
I'm
I
not-
appreciate you, Jesse. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. All right,
All
now
right,
you
see
can
you
get him
guys.
out of here. And now for our guy Thunderbolt, let's send Ketel up the mountain because Ketel deserves to go.
Just like Damon, I really hope this works.
Let's keep your fingers crossed. Does he?
No!
He's never there. The file is never there.
You can
But
do
anyway.
the sound effect at least.
Yeah, no, I can't. Like you could just imagine him going up the mountain, but of course, Diamondbacks have a long way to go up that mountain. So maybe we'll get to play that at some point here in the postseason. But we are not there yet.
7 more
maybe.
steps
I don't
to the
know.
top of the mountain. 7
Yeah.
more wins.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
You're like, I guess.
yeah.
I mean, well, it's what's great about tomorrow, and again, we'll have a pregame. 30 minutes before first pitch.
Yeah.
But it's a Friday, and it's a Friday night. It's a true night game, and it's a Friday night at Chase Field.
Yeah.
So it should absolutely be jumping. And the fact that no one's getting rid of their tickets because now it's $56 to get in through the front door, and I'm sure flights are going to be a lot more costly, and Phillies fans might not be as cocky. They were getting a little bit chippy in the pregame. I think they could sense some things were going to happen. They were chatting it up, obviously, on YouTube here, and I don't know that they're worried, but they know it's not going to be a sweep. We will not have a repeat of 2007 where the Rockies swept the Diamondbacks. That's not going to
happen. We had to interrupt you for that because he finally got it. Let's go. Let's get those wins, baby. Oh, man. I need more Four Peaks, which I'm drinking right now, of course. It's the official victory beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's the official craft beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So make sure to grab yourself some Four Peaks wherever you get your beers at, whatever grocery store you shop at. Make sure to get some beers. Of course, it's the perfect beer for Arizona tailgates for 25 years here in the Valley. It's pumpkin porter season, so make sure to grab some of that again wherever you get your beers, or stop by their 8th Street Pub. Get it fresh out of the tap, grab some to go, eat some chicken tendies, have yourself a wonderful afternoon. They'll always have sports on over there at the 8th Street Pub, so do not miss out on that. You can visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all of your favorite brewery tours and events. Steinholding, again, very difficult. Oktoberfest and Haunted Brewery tours are right around the corner. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. But more importantly, do not forget that we are a fucking dangerous team. So get the shirt of a fucking dangerous team. A connected team is a dangerous team. We are all a dangerous team around here. So get that shirt. Get the official shirt of our PHNX playoff run, right? I can say that, the official shirt of our PHNX playoff run.
100%.
Those words don't cross any kind of lines, right? That I've been known to habitually cross. Okay, good.
Yeah, I've since I've been added to the team here, yeah. I've been working with the legal department. And
he's my fact checker over here. He makes sure that I keep myself out of trouble because, as you know, I can't do that myself. But grab yourself the Die Hard shirt, grab yourself the Wagon shirt, grab all of the wonderful shirts over at the PHNX Locker when it comes to D-backs playoff season. And of course, if you are a Die Hard, you'll get 20% off of those purchases. If you are not a diehard, get your diehard membership today. You will get a free shirt. You can pick one out. Wagon shirt, we are fucking dangerous. The bat shirt with the snake around the bat. The other bat shirt. There's lots of snakes. There's lots of bats. You go over there, find one that you like. You also get all sorts of wonderful benefits, including 20% off all future purchases. Ooh. You get access to our members only Discord lounge. Ooh. You get all of Jesse's content. Ooh. All of it unlocked. None of it behind a paywall. You also get discounts with our partners. You get a $50 gift certificate for Mountain Mike's. Are they reacting to me saying this stuff too?
No, I think they're reacting to the Yotes.
To the Yotes?
Yeah, Yotes are up 3-1.
Wait,
the Yotes are up 3-1? What a night.
They've been playing
what a fucking night. Let's go.
They've been playing like every day this week. Does hockey never have any off days anymore?
4 games. Baseball? I have never enjoyed watching baseball in this audience or in this office more than I have over the last week because all the sports are starting. The Suns are watching pregame shows. The Yotes are going. We got players in here. Damon Dog is here. Damon Dog, get in here. Oh, no. Oh, my God. It just got fucking electric in here. Let's go. What a treat. Let's go, baby. Well, I mean, what better way to end it than that? I'm going to go hang out with my boys. We're going to talk about this big win. But, of course, we thank you guys so much for being here. By the way, Saturday, October 21st, we're joining thousands of teams across the country for the Out of Darkness Community Walk. Of course, it is an event co-chaired by one of our very own PHNX diehards. We love you guys for being part of our diehard community, and we love being part of your community. So we are happy to join this and be a part of it. It is of course, the community walk raises money for suicide prevention programs, unites those who have been affected by suicide, and helps create communities that are smart about mental health. And it's something we all need to focus on, of course. And you can, of course, join us in person. We'll all be at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick at 9 a.m. on the 21st, or you can show your support virtually. You can join Team PHNX by hitting the link in our description and help us hit our fundraising goal if you're able to help. You can also join our team. And again, even if you're not able to join us at Talking Stick or whatever, you join our team virtually. Just join our team. You don't even have to do the thing. Just show the support, be with us, because of course we want to show our support as well. It's so important to so many of us, but we have a lot of celebrating to do around here. It's been a very exciting night. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Of Of course, this maniac next to me is at Patrick D. Lyons, but he's nothing like the maniacs that just came in here and yelled and screamed. And I love those guys. No offense. The Ski Squad, because again, he's a maniac, but they are different levels of maniacs. Of course, Faj is behind the Mac tonight. Of course, you can follow Jacob at Jacob_Franklin4. He's the fourth best Jacob Franklin known to man. Our show is at PHNX D-backs, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys again for being here in the chat. We thank you so much for showing up tonight at Chase Field. And most importantly, remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you beat the fucking Phillies in Game 3 of the NLCS. Let's go. I'm going to put money in the jar.
We all silly like the mayor.